Hey, what's up, guys? So, in this video, I want to talk about something I think is a practice in the kitchen that I just think is underrated, or at least doesn't get the credit it deserves. And obviously, by the title, it's family meal. I mean, if you want to talk about something you can truly, honestly use outside of work, family meal. I mean, you can work in a restaurant and you know what? You can learn how to make a duck polenta. You can learn how to make a chicken parmesan. You can work how to make a mac and cheese. You can learn how to make an ahi tartar. That's cool, but what are you going to do when you go to someone's house and you don't have those ingredients? You know how to make the dishes, but do you know how to go into anybody's house, look into their pantry and their fridge, and just be like, I'm going to take this, and that? That's a skill on its own, and and especially when you have limited ingredients. I mean, what you're gonna see today is everything you see that I'm gonna use in this video. That's really what I had to work with. I mean, I had frozen chicken thighs in the freezer, and I had some thawed off, but by the time I made this, I was kind of tired. I had just come back with my family from this long walk, and I had exercised, so I was a little winded. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to make something quick, fast. Let's go. And again, I just don't, I at least don't go around trying to make super fancy food when I'm at home. Do I? Absolutely. And I think in future videos, I'm going to try it. I'll definitely spotlight that, but I'm not going to do it just for the sake of making the video. If tomorrow I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make some like really good ramen. Oh, okay, I'll make the ramen. If someday I make some bomb chicken parmesan, I'll do it. But for the most part, I think for most people, you usually just gotta work with what you got, and it's not always the best. I mean, how many times have you gone to the fridge to go look for something to eat? 3 or 4 or 5 times. You know that ingredient list isn't gonna change. You know it's not like magically you're just gonna have like all the ingredients to make the dish that you're craving. You want In-N-Out burger, you're not gonna have that. So like the rest of the world, the rest of the normal world, you're just gonna have to see what you got and what can you make with it. So my first introduction to family meal wasn't actually in the first restaurant I worked in. It was talked about by my chef, but I didn't quite understand it. Like, you guys make food for all the employees before service starts. It didn't. I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Every now and then he would make some food when we were slow, but for the most part, if you wanted to eat, you had to buy it. That was like the owner's rules. So I never really ate there. I didn't really even snack there. Again, I'm new, and I'm trying to be conscious of like food costs at that point. So even like a little baguette, I'd be like, no, I'm not going to. I'd always make sure I eat before I get to work, or I'd eat after work. Um, Following that restaurant, two two of the three hotel kitchens I had that had pre-approved menus, pre-approved employee menus. So that would include things like a cheeseburger, chicken strips and fries, etc. It's super basic thing, a Caesar salad, nothing fancy. The last hotel kitchen I worked at, they didn't have family meal, but at the end of service, you were allowed to make something for yourself if you wanted to. And by make something for yourself, it didn't mean you could go and crack some eggs and then cook something. It wasn't like that at all. You Whatever was left over from that day, like if something was going to get dumped, if you wanted to eat the rest of it, absolutely go for it. My first real introduction was these two kitchens that I worked at. Actually, so the place that I work at currently right now, the owner owns 6 restaurants. So I get hired into one, and that's the one where I'm currently at. When I first started, it was an incredibly like overwhelming experience, and I blanked. But lucky for me, he's like, why don't you team up with so and so and just let them know you're doing family. And so I went, I'm like, hey, buddy, we're going to be doing family. And I don't remember what we ended up making, but it was just really easy. And it's the kind of thing where you ever look at something and it's easy and you're like, oh, I could have done that. Okay, but why didn't you? It's because I hadn't exercised that mental muscle. It's like anything. If you can't do something, or if you're just not good at something, it just means that muscle, it doesn't have to be physical, but that mental aspect of you is just weak. You don't have the mental fortitude. I didn't have the mental fortitude to just go into the walk-in and bust out a meal for 20 people in under an hour. Now, forget about it. It's so easy. I can definitely do that. So I did this for a couple months, and then I needed to pick up a second job. And so I asked the chef, it's like if any of the other restaurants needed help, and they did. They needed an AM guy for this other place. So I went there and I started working there, and that restaurant completely changed how I view family meal. It went from just like some task, some annoyance, to the act. I think when people join the restaurant industry because they want to be a chef, because they want to make menus, because they want to learn how to cook, family meal should be at the top of that list. Not in terms of what your goal is, but when you go into a kitchen, that's your time to shine. And that's what I was seeing these guys do. Not only did these guys would take each guy each day would each do a family meal, and it was almost like this friendly competition of who could do something that tasted better. It was not about I can make the most complicated. No, it was like, what can you do with what you got and make the best product that you can in under an hour and serve people. And you know what these guys were doing? We had a little a little Mexican market next door. These guys are using their own money to go and buy an ingredient that maybe they needed. Maybe they needed like a can of beans to complete it. Or a sauce. Maybe or like, man, we don't have the cheese that I want for this, and that's all I need. I have all the ingredients in the walk-in except the cheese, except the bean. They spend their own money. That is true pride in what you do. It's not just I show up on time, I do the cooking, and I make the. No, I know cooks that legit, for them, family meal is an annoyance. Family meal is like, just make something, get it out of the way, and literally like the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. It's like, seriously, dude, you have an opportunity to show people what you got. You have an opportunity to show people that you have some sort of creativity. It doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes the simplest things. I mean, the owner will come in sometimes into a restaurant, and he'll want to see what family is. And maybe I can only count maybe twice that he's actually asked, like, hey, who made this? And even, you'll tell him, oh, so and so made it. And that'll be the end of that. But just the fact that he asked, the owner of 6 restaurants asked who made it, So I'm working at the second restaurant, and it just changed my view completely. I end up quitting because I couldn't do the 2 kitchens. I was just burning myself out. So I go back to the first one, and now I'm at a point where an hour before I start work, I now start thinking about the ingredients that I have in the walk-in. I now start Googling, what can I do? What can I make? It's so much fun. And it's even more fun when now I'm at home, I'm hungry, and I'm trying to think, and I'm like, dude, I got ramen packets, I got a can of chili, I got kielbasa, I keep the chili flakes that you get from pizza delivery drivers. I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm just gonna put it all in. So I recommend, dude, if you're new, if you want to up your game as far as creativity goes, your improvisation, because that's what matters. You listen to hip hop, the most impressive guys are guys that can just boom on the fly just spit some good shit. Well, how come you can't on the fly just start making some really good, simple, honest food? So go into the kitchen, man. Start your shift. Hey, chef, what are we doing for family meal? Volunteer. And if you don't know, ask someone to help you. Make it a team effort. Make it a group thing. One more person. Hey, can you help me out? Cut these veggies up. I'm going to make some fajitas. Yeah, why not? It's so much fun. And I think I think you'll benefit a lot even if you don't stay in that kitchen. It's going to carry over into the next restaurant, into your next gig. It's going to carry over into your personal life. And that's what it's all about. And you're not going to be great at first. You need to be okay with failing. You're going to fail your way to success. Family meal, man. Super simple, super important, incredibly underrated. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. I'm currently trying to film a lot more footage because I'm only uploading on Mondays. But I think once I have enough of a backlog of videos, then I want to be able to start uploading Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's the goal. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, so I'm not trying to add any more stress to myself. So, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the comments, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.